The Mormon are 40.
All right, well, please stand and join us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our board meeting. We'll start with item 2, any deletions or additions to the agenda?
Madam Chair, we do have one addition to the agenda. It's number 9B14. It's going to be approve an additional out-of-district enrollment request. I think that should be part of your agenda. And then in terms of my report, I'm going to talk a little bit about some buses for Prairie View that just came up today during the afternoon. That'll be part of my report.
Okay. Since there's a change, we do need a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
Madam Chairman, I'll move to approve the addition to the agenda of district enrollment request.
I will second that.
Thank you. All right, any questions or comments? And all those in favor of approving the addition to the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Next, we'll go to item 3, the approval of the agenda with additional bills.
Madam Chair,
I would move that we approve the agenda with additional bills.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the agenda and the additional bills? All those in favor of approving the agenda with additional bills, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Alright. And now on to item 4, the good things happening. We have, on the link on the website will give you the monthly good news for the summer. And I just want to take a quick minute to give a shout out to Alexa Kennedy at the Wyoming Bell for helping the school board with the burritos this morning for the teachers. So she helped us out with those. Thanks, Lex.
thanks. Ryan, do you want to loop that through a little bit, just once maybe, or it's a good thing to share that link? The monthly good news, there should be a link there, correct, Heather?
The one I looked for August looked blank.
I just
Okay.
looked in the last hour.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But I'm not sure, does Officer Seeley's here? Okay, perfect, yes, here, great. So we can look at that as we're going through some of the introductions or whatever, so if we're good with that. So the next one, we have an award for employer support from the National Guard. Officer Seeley's here, he's gonna present that.
All right, well, good evening. Would you mind coming up?
Sure.
All right, good deal. Well, this is not an award for the Employer Support and Guard. This is an award for the Wheatland School District and Mr. Sandlin for being so supportive of this young man right here. So, I don't know if most of you recognize this gentleman, but he does work for the district, or at least did, right? Yep, so prior to him getting a full-time job with the National Guard right here in Wheatland, there was a lot of things that he had to do, and the district was very supportive, and I just want to be able to mention 2 things. Mr. Sandlin always is present with my students when I'm away so that I can focus on the mission, and he always makes sure that he advocates on my behalf, and always also makes sure that he had an appropriate substitute when he was gone. That way he wasn't stressed about the lessons. So this award is actually for Mr. Sandlin. So.
Come on, John.
Thank you so much for your support on behalf of the Department of Defense and the Wyoming National Guard. you get this fancy award you can put on your wall and this coveted pin to put on your lapel. We sure absolutely appreciate the support, and now you guys have a wonderful resource just up the street, not that you didn't before, but nonetheless, so thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so next will be our introductions of our new certified staff for this coming year. So we're gonna start with Tiffany Bell.
I am Tiffany Bell. I will be teaching 4th grade at West, assuming I should talk this way and not this way. Hi, everybody. I am most excited about the school year to meet my students. I am new from Indiana, so I'm also very excited to be done with moving boxes, both in my classroom and in my house. And then why did I come here? My nieces and nephews will be 4 students here. And where they are, I decided I wanted to be.
Well, that's
So I
wonderful.
moved cross country for the 4 of them and excited, so thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, the wind blows here.
No lawn ornaments that aren't cement.
All right.
Julia?
Hi, my name is Julia Crossland. I'll be the one of the special education teachers at the middle school this year. I'm most excited about being at Platte 1 because I did my student teaching here. I was a substitute here for a long time, and so I'm excited to return. I chose Platte 1 mostly because my husband and I farm and ranch just outside of town, so it's perfect, and I love the community here. I'm super excited to be back. So.
Awesome, thanks.
So Peter's coaching, how about Lisa?
Me? Hi, I'm Lisa Cousteau. I'm going to be an intensive special education teacher at the middle school here this year. What I'm most excited about is actually coming back as a teacher. I was doing case management before, and I actually came to Platte County to do case management, but I ended up going back into the teaching role. And I'm excited to work the new curriculum program that they have for the students that I've learned, so.
Awesome. Well, absolutely. Being flexible. You can go up there. Okay. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hey, Madison?
I'm Maddie Vance. I'm the new 5th grade teacher at West. I am most excited. This is my first year teaching, so I'm really excited to work with my team and get to know the students. And I picked Platte 1 because I have quite a few friends here and spent some holidays and time visiting and really fell in love with the community. So I'm excited to be here.
That's great. From where?
Here,
Yeah, where did you move from?
oh, Laramie.
Laramie, okay. Nice to
Welcome to
meet you.
Oh, yeah. I worked at the state vet lab for 9 years.
That's awesome.
Our teacher, good? Yep.
I'm Rietta Heinzman. I'm the elementary art teacher. I think this year I'm most excited to just teach and meet my students. It'll be my first year teaching, so I'm really excited to get in there and work with the kids. I chose Platte 1 because when I was looking at schools to start teaching at, it seemed like a really, really friendly community, and they were most interested in having varied education for their kids. So I really wanted to be part of that.
Good. Welcome.
That's awesome.
Gavin Olds, I'll be doing the 612 band. Really excited to be able to show off the talents and skills of a lot of our students. And I chose Platte 1 because I love teaching in small towns And I've always wanted to teach in Wyoming or Montana or a state like that. And during the interview, everything just felt so friendly, so I was like, it feels like a good place to move from Washington, so.
It's nice to see Travis.
Tabby, you ready?
It's me. I'm like, I don't know if it's my turn. I'm Tabby Parker, and I am back to the district. This will be my 11th year. I took 9 months off last year. I'm gonna be at the middle school teaching sped, so I'm just glad to be back. I'm ready to be with kids. Thank you.
Okay, Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen Winter. I am teaching high school language arts this year, and I'm most excited about meeting the kids. I came from Pinedale, so I'm from the other side of Wyoming now, so we get to see this side. Platte. I like the small town, and my husband used to work here, live here, so it's kind of nice. So he goes back home, and you guys have welcomed me, so it's really nice.
Awesome, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome back.
Nice to meet you.
Our teacher.
Yes, I do. There's other things here.
Alright, Ashley?
I'm gonna stand off to the side because I don't want to have my back to anybody. My name is Ashley Schaefer and I have been assigned the district nurse position for Platte County 1. I'm originally from South Dakota. I moved here because I'm engaged to a man from here. But I am most excited about working beside educators, parents, and kids, looking in their best interests. And I kind of want to try to introduce some age-appropriate health literature, some teaching opportunities for all the kids. So, cool.
Great, welcome.
You and your ideas.
Thank you. Welcome, thank you. Thank you.
Peter might come in a little later, I'm not sure about Roxy. Let's see if she comes in, we'll just invite her. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
If you wanna stay, if it's been a long day, so enjoy your night.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Come on,
Nice to meet you guys.
Tyler.
Do you miss it?
I do, and I don't.
Alright. On to correspondence, I don't see any. And visitor comments, we have none. So we'll go on to the consent agenda, item 7. The consent agenda, if I
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
All right, any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, no? And now we'll go on to our informational items. Mr. White?
Yep, superintendent report. I'm just gonna talk again about the most cost-effective remedy study for the old junior high. I think originally we thought we were kind of on a timeline to do something with those funds that they were going to demolish that building. There was a MRSA study ordered about 8 months ago and it was never put forward, so the Wyoming Facilities Commission did say that they will start that. And that usually has to do with some experts in the field, they'll come and evaluate the building, talk with the district, and come up with 1 or 2 possible solutions to look at in terms of the district. We're not sure, we've talked a little bit about what's the best thing, but they're gonna help give us information, and that's from the Wyoming Facilities Commission, so that's one step. to think about as we move forward with the whole junior high. Okay? So then the second one, Brownfield and Orphan Site Remediation Program of Solid Waste, Hazardous Waste Division. So there, I did a phone interview with them, and that's the company that actually will review older buildings and do an inspection for asbestos and lead paint. They also can provide things like structural engineering people that will actually give us some ideas about, yeah, this wall can do this, or this building can withstand this. So I think in combination with the study, the board should have all the information you need to make the best decision with the old junior high moving forward. The best part about this, we do have that company, and then below there, AIRS is really a subcontractor for them. So with AIRS, they'll probably do some of the work, but they fall underneath that Wyoming Environmental or Department of Environmental Quality. So we're working with both of those entities to try to come up with, I think, would be the best information for the board to make a decision. So, just to be clear on that. And then any questions before we introduce our new business teacher?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
so the brownfield and the AIRS, those plus the study that's being done, what's the game plan? Are we still shooting for December?
I think December's off, we're not on the chopping block anymore for those funds, or we don't have to let them know by December.
Okay.
Since the Wyoming Facilities Commission is running the MRSA study, nothing will happen until that MRSA study is complete.
Okay.
Okay, so it does give us a little bit of time and hopefully better information.
Good.
Okay?
Super.
So Peter, come on up, I got a little thing for you, just as a reminder. You guys have been busy today.
Alright, so I'm Peter Fenster. Sorry, I was at football practice and I looked at the clock, I noticed it's 6:15, I was like, oh, I'm late. I'm the new high school business teacher, FBLA advisor, assistant football assistant, girls basketball. I'm just excited, new place, new faces, great town, great tradition, and I'm just excited to get the role, so.
Alright.
And the reason I chose here, I have a sister that works here. Many of you know George. That is my sister, and so I'm moving close to her. If you know her, we're like, people are like, oh my god, you guys are siblings. They're like, yeah, we are. So we're kind of the same person, just a little bit louder and a little better looking, so.
Okay, some other shit right here.
That's alright.
That's awesome.
You can tell her that too, I said that. I don't care.
I will.
Okay, so the next one is strategic plan with our vision and mission. So every year, we have kind of a monthly area that we try to cover at the board meetings, some of our agendas. So this is on this time of year to look at our strategic plan and the vision and mission. We did a lot of work with the vision and mission. We've also just finished the strategic plan along with a policy that'll be, I believe, second reading tonight. So we have that pretty much set. That will be a 3 to 5 year plan, hopefully, with monitoring and feedback, and if we need to make some adjustments, we will. But that's really not something else we're gonna kind of cover right now because we're online to move forward with the strategic plan that goes along with the vision and mission, just to let everybody know. Okay. Next, I want to have Mr. Sandlin come up and talk a little bit about the CTE demonstration grant awards and what those funds will actually go towards. And the amounts, Josh. Go ahead.
Yep. Good evening, board. So as you know, we are a Perkins district. We receive our own Perkins dollars allocated by the state. This year, I think we're set to receive a little bit more than last year. So about $1,000 more, so $37,000 for Perkins itself. But once you are in the Perkins, I guess, pipeline, you have access to other grants. So there's cutting edge grant, could be up to $25,000. There's the demonstration grants, which are up to $125,000. There's a few others, there's some for professional development. Well, I knew Mr. Hazen was applying for the demonstration grant, and we've been working on trying to build a Z-Space lab, which is somewhat virtual reality.
Okay.
But we're looking at offering more options for kids than really what we have classes for, especially like in automotive, HVAC, electrical, some of those plumbing, some of those other things. So we can get all of those modules and then working with our local contractors to help, set a course for kids to hopefully be an apprentice or whatever they wanna do, go to trade school, whatever, or co-op or mentorship. He received $85,000.
Wow.
So we're gonna be working with that, with Z-Space to figure out how many units we can buy, with that $85,000. And then actually, the WDE called me and said they had another $4,800 that they wanted to award, so he's actually got about $89,000 to spend. That'll go in the drafting lab portion of his classroom there. The other one, I was kind of surprised because I didn't know he was doing it, but Mr. Dallas applied for a demonstration grant to replace all the welders in the shop, and they're about $11,000 a piece. He was awarded $125,000, the full amount from that demonstration grant. So total, we're sitting at a little bit over $200,000 to update our wood shop and ag shop over the course of this next year. So once we get everything signed by the Attorney General, we'll work with Jamie and get things going and get that new equipment ordered for our kids.
Just can you explain a little bit about Z-Space, how that figure looks and what you can do, just a little bit?
Yeah,
Show it to them.
so the Z-Space doesn't require the goggles, so they've got in their program and in their modules that you can manipulate an engine, you can manipulate a heart, but you can just look at it from all angles, you can take layers away, look at it, it's got some of the features like from CAD, where you can go in and, especially with HVAC, you can go in and build and design things. So we really think it's gonna help us, along with the ride, kind of promote some other areas where we might not necessarily have a class, but we can use these modules to help prepare kids for their, internships and co-op opportunities.
And I had the opportunity to work this a little bit in Colorado, and kids get really excited about it because it is new and it's kind of into their world a little bit with some of the virtual things, but now it's right in front of them. Broadcast it out through kind of a laptop, I would say, how you describe that, so pretty innovative.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They have all sorts of modules. So we were even thinking if we could grab onto some health science modules, we've got the CNA course. We've got, we can use a regular ed course as part of the progression too. So if we've got CNA, we could use a biology class as part of that and possibly some of these others. So we're trying to think of other ways we can help prepare kids.
Right,
So
that's wonderful, awesome,
that's pretty cool.
exciting.
So is it similar to the virtual welder that we have, or is it?
Sort of. Kind of the same idea. I don't know, it's more about structures and stuff. I don't know. I haven't played with it a whole lot. Like being a science teacher, I clicked on the one that had the heart on it, so I was peeling back layers of the heart. So I don't know if it's got like the virtual welder where you can actually go in and do some of those things, but it can do a lot. I'm just not sure if it can do that, but it's pretty cool.
I just wondered if it was the same idea, because I think that's middle school, so they would hopefully move on.
Yeah, and we've been trying, Ryan, I know we've tried a couple times for these Z-Space labs, so now we're actually gonna be able to do it, and I'm guessing they'll probably be able to put in probably 7 or 8 consoles that have all of the modules added to them.
Great.
Good, certainly.
I got one more question. Sorry, you're not completely gone. What's the time frame on it? Do we have one? Or am I jumping the gun too quick?
As soon as the Attorney General signs the paperwork, then we can spend the money. So I was notified probably a week, 10 days ago, so I'm not sure when.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was something. Okay, so a few months. Okay.
Most likely it'll be a few weeks probably before we get the official paperwork from the Attorney General.
Within the school year would have been sufficient enough for.
Yeah, however, the $4,800, we can apparently spend that anytime we want now, but that's not gonna get us a whole lot yet, but we have to spend that portion by the end of September, I believe, so.
Tony, you wanna come up and talk a little bit about our summer projects and maybe summarize where we're at?
School board superintendent, thanks for the share. It's been a busy summer. We've been doing all sorts of fun stuff, so, I just kind of wrote down our major projects, and if you guys have questions about certain ones as I go, and hit on. The highlight, I think, is definitely the weight room. It's coming together. We did update the whole system for the air conditioning, heating, all that. New lights, new paint, all the new equipment's in there. On the side of almost finished, we're waiting, today we pretty much wiped out the rest of the electrical, there's just a little bit left on that side. And then the only thing we're waiting on is the mirrors for all the walls to replace what was there. Other than that, that project's pretty much done. And it's same with pretty much all the HVAC systems. Everything's up and running. We're still kind of with all the controls and getting everything balanced out and just fine tuning the systems. So that's it, take a little bit of time as we just play with the settings and get everything just fine tuned. But everything's running, feeling good in that room. So the weight room's pretty much wiped out. The Libby HVAC, there again, that one, everything's up, running, pretty much all buttoned up. Again, just finishing up controls, balancing, and that stuff, so it's nice to have an AC in a lot of that different part of the school. Same again with the high school, library HVAC, everything's up and running, final adjustments, same stuff, so that kind of covers all the HVAC stuff. We finished up the middle school re-roofs, pretty much 99% done. We're just waiting on some trim work, a little bit more gutters, which it should be done. If everything goes as planned by tomorrow, and everything should be moving off of that property, the trash cans and everything. So that one's right there, pretty much being done as well. The good news is it rained a couple of weeks ago and it wasn't leaking inside, so that's a big win. Other than that, I don't know if you guys have noticed over there, there's a lot of ruts and a lot of mess on that landscaping. The contractor didn't listen to the engineer and all of us, and so they're actually holding their last pay. They're supposed to be bringing in a landscaper to fix pretty much all the way around the school because they literally tore up all the yard by dragging a telehandler wherever they wanted, and they didn't use plywoods or any of that stuff. So there's some mess on that side, but they're covering all the landscaping. It's supposed to be in the next couple weeks, getting all that wiped out. So not sure who's doing that yet. They put it out and got a bunch of bids and stuff. So for the re-roof, that's pretty much where we're set on that one. High school football field, grass is super healthy, looking good. We did get the whole edge trimmed down, put in a new sod all the way around, which that was our biggest concern, was we were getting all the roots and everything growing under that new resurface we did of the track. That problem's fixed. Sprinkler system, it's a 40-year-old system, so they did a lot of repairs, but we can't get parts for that full system. So really at some point we'd have to think about doing a full sprinkler, just run a new line and do the whole thing. But we did repair a lot of lines, leaks, new heads, a lot of that side. So it's working, but there's still some issues with that sprinkler system on that side. So, but the football field itself was, all the sod took, it's nice and green and growing like crazy. We're to the point we're mowing it twice a week because all the fertilizer and everything is just growing like crazy. Couple others to highlight. The middle school greenhouse, we got all the concrete and everything over there ready, prepped, poster in the ground. So that one, since it's a kit, now we can pretty much just start throwing it together. It'll go up pretty quick. It's just a quick bolt and play. So that one's pretty close. Couple more highlights. Libby, the courtyard over here. We did new sod and sprinkler in there. We had to dig up a bunch of it to try to fix it, and that it hasn't had green grass or anything for years from what I can tell. So we got that nice and healthy. I don't know if you've seen it, but it definitely cleaned up that area over there. Some of the summer winds, our new grounds guy Brian did an amazing job. Fixed sprinkler issues that we've had for years and years, so I've had quite a few comments that there's areas that are green that have never been green, so I think we got a good handle on all the sprinklers. Another big highlight for us was we've been going through west over there after that main line break the city did. We went through pretty much all the valves, we went through all the faucets. I think we're finally to hopefully the end of all the sand and dirt issues that we've been fighting for that over there for the last year. So we went through that whole system, so I think we're good on that side. Other than that, just a lot of cleanup, mechanical kind of updates, fixing a lot of little band-aids, those kind of things for the summer. So a couple of the things that we were hoping to get done this summer was the Glendale playground equipment. That it's all ordered, but just because of where we ordered it and everything else, it won't be here till October, middle of October. So as soon as it comes in, if it's, as long as the ground's not frozen, we'll still try to get it in this fall, but just depending on when it shows up, what the weather's like, all that, if we can get it in the ground. And then the other thing is the high school dust collector, really should be showing up anytime. Hopefully next month sometime that new dust collector will be in and get that thrown in pretty quick, so. That's kind of the highlights, I think, of our big projects, big pushes for the summer. Overall, everything's kind of wrapping up and so we're simply.
Questions that you guys have?
I have one. So we had the middle school ag teachers come in last December and go over the welding trailer and different things, cause we still don't have electrical or the trailer placed there. And I know it was on your last update, but what do we need to get that
We
rolling?
actually talked with Mr. Daniels and stuff. The trouble is if we put it where we originally, kind of on that gym edge down there, it cost us somewhere between $17,000 to $30,000 to run that much copper line that far at that gauge, because that's come all the way from the far side of the school. So we were talking right before school ended about moving that trailer to the other side of the building, which then we can just come right out of the major mechanical room, and then it cuts the cost down to $5,000 roughly for the electrical. So that's to be the big thing, is if we wanna move it over there, we're talking about how to, if it worked for them with doors and everything else. If not, where it was originally planning on being said, $30,000 to run it with that much electrical.
So feedback that I've been told is, one, if it moves, then it's completely in the opposite side of the building from where the kids are. That could be an issue between classes. The other thing is, if we're doing good and we're having some money, having had 2 kids go through the middle school, there aren't very many electives there. It would be, I think, a great thing to get that up and going, especially if the high school is booming with options to give those middle school kids some opportunity to get rolling. I'm not hollering at you, I'm just saying.
I'm good with wherever we put it or whatever we wanna do to pay
Right.
for it.
Yeah.
I guess if he has any input on where he wants it, that was last we kinda left it, was
Yeah,
talking
it was, when we were talking, it was all more of a cost issue than where we're gonna put it. We're still planning on, getting it up and going, but we just need to make it conducive for learning. And when it's on that side of the building, that was my concern, was just travel time, but if that's where we need to do it, to get it going, then that would be a discussion between the teachers and myself and trying to figure out what's the best for these kids.
So money is the problem, cause as far as I recall, the ag teachers fundraised a bunch of money for this. That was the presentation in December. So
So
it
something you
sounds
want
like
right
we,
there?
yeah, we need to get our information together and discuss this maybe at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of the fundraising being done for that. That's
Cause that's why they came in December. They had said, well, we gathered up this much money, but we still need more, and the electrical was a problem. But I know that it was on your last update, that's why I asked.
Yeah, we've got plans for both of it, so whatever, and however we're paying for it, that's just a big question, so.
Okay.
So.
Jim, a couple of things I have, so the fence at Glendale, is that kind of on the radar also when we do the new playground equipment?
That was my plan, we'll have all the equipment up there, and so to throw in a chain link fence around all of it at that point makes the most sense to me is when we got it all, everything's up there and working in that area, doing it then. If it's a higher priority, we can, if anyone feels like we need to get it up sooner, cause I do have some dogs up there, apparently, we can definitely squeeze it in probably to get it done beforehand, but originally, I was also hoping all that equipment playground equipment would be here this summer, I could get it done, so it kinda just keeps getting pushed back and back, so.
Okay, just kind of know about that. And then
Likely the ground will not be frozen in October.
Probably not.
You're not.
My biggest fear honestly is we get a date and it never fails, but they'll tell us it'll be here in October
Wow.
and it's just time, they just add more time, so that's my biggest fear is that it just pushes more into.
And with the football field, could you talk a little about the goalposts, what's the plan for those?
At the high school?
Yeah.
We ordered special paint, it should be here any day to get that repainted before the season. So that would be painted, our new, fun side note, we were actually had our, turf tank, sponsor guy, whatever, up here today, so it's a robotic painter, so.
Oh, I saw the truck.
Yeah, so we actually got that, we're running it this year, which is actually a huge win for our team because last year it'd take 4 guys out there half the day in the heat painting it and walking all those things. This new robot will do it in about an hour and a half with one guy that can just basically fill the paint, so it's a pretty cool machine and we can get it programmed so we can do marching band at the Libby, the middle school field, so.
Wow. Get some pictures so we can see.
How about the bulldog, we'll do the
Bigger
bulldog in the center of the field?
I think Ryan and Josh were talking about logos, if we stick with the W, it's a whole lot easier and cheaper because of paint. If we change to the bulldog, then every time we do a different color, we gotta wash it and, it definitely turns a whole lot more, but I'm open for whatever.
The W works, I just think that's important to have on the field.
So, yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it, yeah. Well, thank you, sir.
Exciting, good work.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about that, he said it actually turns back when it needs paint, so if you're at a corner or something, it runs out, it's gonna run out of paint, it actually come back. And after where you pour more paint in it, get more paint, then it takes off again, and it starts where it ended. It continues with the striping, the yards, everything else.
Wow. Better be careful, you might lose your job.
Somebody's gotta fill in the paint.
That's right. So Mrs. Wilson, the financial update.
Mr. Weigel, members of the board, I'm here to give you the financial update for the month. I do have a presentation linked in there, hopefully it works. I feel like this summer we talked a lot about budget, and so I have decided that we're gonna do a little pie tonight. So we're gonna go over the general fund. Go ahead and scroll down. It just talks about at the beginning just how school funding works. We're funded by 3 separate resources, local resources made up, and I just listed a few of each of the categories, county revenues and state revenues. Go ahead, scroll down. General fund budget, you guys adopted the budget on July 15th of 2024. You guys allocated the following: 1,000 series direct instruction, $9.5 million, 2,000 instructional support, $1.7 million, 3,000 admin and support services, $6.2 million, 6,000 transfers, 300,000, and 7,000 series pass through to Prairie View Charter of $1 million. Scrolling down, so let's look at the pie. So what does that mean exactly? So and just a side note that this does not include the Prairie View Charter School because we don't get to decide what any of their money does. So I've just taken the $17.8 million and that's Platte One's money to use throughout the year. So what does that exactly look like? Salaries and benefits are gonna make up $14.3 million. So in the grand scheme of all of that, now Platte One really is looking at $3.5 million to truly decide what we're gonna do with it, cause regardless, we have to make payroll. Everybody gets a paycheck, and so it's really hard to read.
Let me try to zoom in.
Can you zoom a little bigger?
And not everybody gets a paycheck. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so, okay, so then what I decided to do is talk about just the 3.5. What is Platte One going to do with that $3.5 million? And so, looking at it, it's hard to get every little sliver to show up because we cut it so differently. So, of that, $1.2 million is going to our buildings. So that includes anything from insurance to utilities to general fund maintenance to paper towels to toilet paper, all of it. We're gonna spend $1.2 million on that. And then I looked at food service, $300,000 we're gonna transfer to the food service account. We have to do that every year. So that's another big chunk that we can divide out. Technology equipment is $159,965, and then that's gonna replace computers, servers, all those types of things. And then supplies, your 410s that everybody talks about. How much do we have for athletic supply, school supply for teachers to use inside their classroom, the transportation department, your guys's 410 for anything that you guys would want. Every single supply, every category is in that. And then just because it's been on everybody's radar, what is the old junior high? How much of a piece of pie do they get? $48,250. So after we spend all of that, that's to get us up and running. We have $1.4 million left over. So when everybody's talking about, oh, you have $17 million, well, really, a lot of it's already spoken for in the grand scheme of things. We only have about 8% really to work with when you break it out number-wise. So what does that other category take care of? That's gonna take care of your special ed placements for kids. And just to give you guys kind of a roundabout figure, in '24, we spent $394,000 on special ed services alone. So now you're already down to $1 million. You take that divided by 6 schools, you're at $166,000. That's it. To do all your traveling, all of your where'd my list go? Traveling, activities, sports, food, fuel, diesel, everything. It goes quick, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. Some people don't like to look at numbers, so if we scroll down, you can look at kind of the percentages. What kind of percentages do we have of the general fund? We're gonna spend 80% on salaries and benefits. That's very typical. The other 20%, like I said, we just went over, 7% is spent on buildings, 2% on the food service, 1% on technology, 2% on the supplies. The old junior high is less than a percentage of what we spend. And then the other is about 8%. So, that's kind of what I had for you tonight. The other general fund update that we talk about our monthly expenditures is always posted online. It's updated at the end of every month. Feel free to check that out. I will entertain any questions about what slice.
Well done.
Yes, I love the pies.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great.
Not the only one that
likes pie.
Who doesn't like pie?
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you, Mrs. Woodson.
So the last thing, it came up today, I'm just gonna explain a little bit so you guys are aware of this, so, there were some issues with Prairie View Charter School and their transportation. Originally, they were given some buses out of Fremont County. They went over the weekend to pick those up, and on the way out of Fremont County, they both broke down. So they had to somehow return them, came back, and then Christian was talking to the Wyoming Department of Education today, the Transportation Department, and they know that we have 2 buses that we've taken the license plates off, they're out of our fleet, so they're not really something we would utilize, and they requested that we would actually donate those 2 buses to the charter school. And I was talking to Jamie a little bit, so we did sell that 1 bus last year, but that amount that we sold it for will be deducted from what we normally get to buy new vehicles, right? So it's kind of an even wash because they're public funds and they're provided by the Wyoming Department of Education. So we could sell it for 10,000, they're gonna take 10,000 away when they give us reimbursement for, let's say, one of our expeditions.
Okay.
Right, so if we said we spent 75,000, but they know we got back about 12, they're gonna deduct that from our reimbursement. So it's really even, so they pretty much dictate that. It wasn't a directive they gave us, it was a suggestion. I don't know if Jamie got an email today from Leslie, who's a supervisor from transportation, but we did want something to say, you know, this is okay to do this, we encourage you to do this. New buses, I think, are out about 2 years, so a lot of districts are ordering those buses and trying to trade in the new buses because of either they have too many miles or they have too many years on those. I think these are 2005 buses, I believe, so they're coming up, you know, into almost 20 years, right? So they take them off of your fleet. So I just wanna make sure everybody's aware of that. You might hear some things about why do we do this? Well, there's no financial gain for us to keep those. It is public funds that actually generate this back and forth through public education. They did encourage us to do that. So today we did pull out those titles and sign those over to the charter school. So they will have 2 of our buses when they start school tomorrow.
Nice.
Good. So
I love it. Perfect.
just for your information.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And that's all my report, I believe.
Alright, let me go back. Where we are. Item 2 is, we all have the link to the July Parks and Rec minutes. And then the board reports, our onboarding committee did meet, sort of. And we have a couple of things to clean up so that actual packet will be here for the September work session for you guys to discuss and look at and see if we need to make any tweaks to it. And it would be on the agenda for the September meeting. Alright. We'll move on to action items. No old business, we'll start with our new business. Item number 1 for the personnel hiring and resignation and termination.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve personal hiring, resignation, and terminations.
Thank you, Mr. Irvin.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Kafka. Any discussions? Comments? All right, all those in favor to approve the personnel hiring, resignation, and termination, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes, say no. Motion passes. Item 2,
I'll make a motion to approve the following policies on the second and final reading. AE strategic plan placement, GCB professional staff fringe benefits, GCBD-R expense reimbursements, EF health and wellness.
all right, thank you, Mrs. Harrelson.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion, comments on the policies? This is second and final reading on these, so once we approve them, they'll be good. All those in favor of approving the following policies on second and final reading. AE strategic plan placement, GCBC professional staff fringe benefits, GCBD-R expense reimbursement, and EFA health and wellness. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right, item 3. The early literacy agreement.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the Platte County Early Literacy Service Agreement.
Alright, thank you.
I'll second.
Alright, so this is the agreement with Susan Benosic for the Platte County Early Literacy that she does. Any questions or comments about that, what she does? Alright. Okay, so all those in favor of approving the Platte County Early Literacy Service Agreement with Susan Benosic, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Item 4, approve school meal prices. We have that, sorry, I need them.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the school meal prices for 2020.
Okay, Mr. Urban?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion on that? We have our, Ryan, can you bring up that link, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
This is Al, since Marie's here, if you have any questions.
Have any questions? There is a change. Do you have anything to add, Mrs. Ellison?
The only thing we discussed at one point, raising the prices, our negative balances this year were larger than they've ever been, and I just think parents are struggling more. And so I think it would be a mistake to raise them. We did raise individual milk prices by 25 cents and the second entree price by 50 cents. Every year we have to do a lunch equity for the state. They thought we probably should raise meal prices or something. I think the small amount we need to increase will be able to make up with those two. The average parent shouldn't have to pay more. So if you're buying a milk or a second entree, you'll pay a little bit more, but the child that doesn't take those will be pretty much the same, so.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions? So all those in favor of approving the school meal prices as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Okay, item 5, membership with WHSAA. I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the WHSAA membership contract for Wheatland and
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
Was just for this is for the vote.
There should be two.
I think there's two here.
So any questions? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just checking status, so we're good to ask questions now? Okay, I got one. Did we approve girls wrestling? I do not remember that, but I kind of do, but I kind of don't, but I could not recall. Are we only talking about the high school one right now? Okay.
Well, Glendale's actually a junior high, correct?
Well, on here, this first one that I pulled up, it says, name of the high school, Wheatland High School, name of the middle junior high school, it says Wheatland Middle School, and then there's a second one that is Glendale. So I didn't know if I could ask questions about both or just, if I'm only supposed to ask questions about the high
The
school.
motion is for both.
Okay. on the Glendale one, it does not, do they still fall under, because it's not highlighted where it says circle one for 1A, 2A, 3A, do they still fall under 3A like the high school, even though they don't have one, does it defer to Wheatland High School?
No, because they're only.
No,
I don't know, I'm asking,
So they're
because it's
only,
not highlighted.
so since we don't have a high school there, that's why you don't see the membership for a high school. What we're doing for Glendale is, we're paying the insurance for them, the catastrophic insurance and the concussion insurance for them, for middle school.
So the middle school doesn't necessarily follow a classification like the high school does.
Okay.
Is that?
Well, they do, but they're not under the fee structure like the high schools are for the activities association.
And then my other question is, are they limited to just this then?
You mean what's that, the basketball, outdoor track, FFA?
Yeah, because we have one basketball under the boys, outdoor track under boys and girls, and then FFA under combined. So I just wondered if they were limited to that.
It would be limiting, wouldn't it? We can't
I'm
add,
just
you're asking, are we gonna add it like later on, possibly in the year?
I'm just asking, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah,
Is
we
that what
can't
you-
add that, we did last year, if you remember, when there was a sport that came up, we just have to pay additional fees
Okay,
for the middle school.
okay,
Is that correct, Josh? You know a little bit about that.
okay. Is that your question, Amanda? Okay, yeah.
Any further discussion or comments on our WHS Wyoming High School Athletic Association?
I got one more.
Okay.
So I thought I did not grow up here, I did not go to school here, so I don't know, but you always hear the conversation of you're heavy on the boys versus girls athletics. So we're a girl sport heavy then? Is that what, are we out of compliance somewhere is my main question.
No.
Is that like a compliance thing or is it just a gossip?
No,
Doesn't
we
have to
just
be
have to
one
make
or
sure we offer opportunities for both sexes to participate. One of the ones that you hear most often is when there are more men's sports than female sports. That's the big one, but that's only one piece of Title IX. It's about, are we offering things for all students to be involved in?
Okay.
Oh, I got one more, sorry. We have one that says marching band and one that says music. What's the difference when it comes to the high school?
So we have marching band and then we have different festivals and things that the band goes to and the choir goes to.
Oh, okay,
They're sponsored
music.
by the.
Okay, gotcha, sorry. I knew it was a simple answer, I just didn't know. There's a lot.
Good questions.
Alright, any further questions, discussion? So all those in favor of approving the WHSAA membership contract and the Glendale WHSAA membership contract, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Thank you. Alright, now we get into our handbooks. We'll start with item 6 for the staff handbook.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the staff handbook.
I will second that, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Any comments, questions, discussion on the staff handbook? I have a copy of it here.
Have we made much difference? You know, I've read it previously, but is there any notable differences?
I'd say we put the vision and mission up front, that was the biggest one.
Okay.
I
Love
read
it.
through this with Heather, I think back in June, just to make sure everything made sense, to read every word of it. We double check the policy, so I think the biggest one, when we change policy, we gotta make sure it's reflected in our handbook as we go through all the policies, so I think every year we just gotta read through it, just like our policies, and see if it makes sense, see if it's connected to the right one. So I think it was back in June when we did that, is when we kind of clarified anything, but nothing major. There's a lot of information in that, for sure.
Thank you, Heather and Matt.
Further comments, discussions, questions? Okay, all those in favor of approving the staff handbook, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Yes. Alright, next we have the coaches sponsored handbook.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the coaches sponsors handbook.
Thank you,
And I'll second.
thank you. Right. Alright, it has been motioned and seconded. Any questions, comments, discussion?
I got one. How come only Wheatland has a handbook?
You mean as opposed to Glendo?
District-wide.
I just thought of that. It says
Wheatland coaches.
So I believe this is a varsity handbook, correct, Josh, when you guys looked at this? It's in process still, but I believe this is a varsity high school handbook where it talks about all those things. I'm not sure what we do at the middle school. Robert, if there's anything there, if that's something we have to develop, probably follows our policies, but it's very specific, I believe, to high school.
And with the changes to, you know, Chugwater and the high school portion of Glendo, I mean, we could make it a district book.
just asking.
I mean,
I think it might be good to relabel it.
but
If
I
you
think
feel
it's
like
something
it
that,
could
you know,
work.
our plan is to go through it. We wanted to have something in place, but with the intent that we would review it throughout this next school year. Make any updates and changes.
And I get that's not the priority of what's going on, it just came to mind when it came up, and no, it
Sure.
wasn't Glendo that brought it up, but a couple years ago when I came on the board, was actually a conversation I had in Chugwater, that in time, they were upset when they got a Wheatland cape that said Wheatland Bulldogs, and that's fair enough. So now I just try to pay attention to that stuff a little bit more. I'm not accusing anybody, I'm not trying to stir the pot. It just popped up and it came to mind, that's why I was asking.
And Robert, I think maybe you and your AD could look at maybe the mid-level one that would be for the district. So when we have Glendo students, they would have some guidance in terms of their handbook also.
Definitely.
Sorry, thank you.
That'd be good.
Makes sense. Alright, further discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor of approving the coaches sponsors handbook, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Passed. Okay, next we have the para handbook.
I would make a motion to approve the para handbook.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'll second.
Any questions or comments on the para handbook?
We got the second on that?
I saw you.
I was too quiet. You
whispered. You whispered. You wanna be heard here, you gotta speak up. Alright, questions on the para handbook, any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All those in favor of approving the para handbook, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Alright. Thank you. On to item 9. Our organizational chart.
I would move to approve the organizational chart.
Thank you.
I will second that.
Thank you. I think this, we approve it every year by a policy, correct?
Right.
So, any questions or comments about our organizational chart?
I like this one, it's pretty clean.
No.
Easy to follow.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
So, any further questions, comments? All right.
Okay.
All those in favor of approving the organizational chart, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right, item 10, fuel bid opening.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the fuel bid opening.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Oh,
All right, any questions? Comments, concerns?
So just remind the board that you guys will open it, and then Jamie, or Mrs. Wilson, and then Mr. Apple will actually go through the process and post it on paper. And once we get the bids, we'll come back and make recommendations to you.
right, good, perfect.
I'm sure it'll be a lot.
All those in favor of approving the fuel bid opening, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Item 11, on the student handbooks.
Okay. So this is I make a motion to approve student handbooks for Wheatland High School, Peak High School, Libby West, Wheatland Middle School, and Glendale Schools.
Thank you.
I second that.
Copy of all of those in our packet. Any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
All good? All those in favor of approving the student handbooks for Wheatland High School, Peak High School, Libby West, Wheatland Middle School, and Glendale Schools, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right. So item 12,
I would make a motion to approve the out-of-district enrollment request.
I would like to second that.
thank you. Copy of that in our packet as well. Any questions, comments? All those in favor of approving the out-of-district enrollment request, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Item 13,
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the special education contract with ACES.
I will second that.
thank you. Any comments or questions on the contract with ACES? All those in favor of approving the special education contract with ACES, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any no, any? Just say no if you don't want it. Passes, sorry. Been a long day.
Might have been a little, we got started too early.
All right, item 14, which is our added out-of-district enrollment request.
Great, I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-district enrollment request that was added.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Comments, concerns?
Appreciate all the links so we can know what's going on, all the updates, all of it. Never felt so informed. It's good.
Right, so all those in favor of approving the out-of-district enrollment request, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? And with that, we will, actually I have one bit of information for the board. We have been asked if anybody would like to help with the grilling of the hot dogs for the high school back to school night. I think an email will be coming out to us, but it'll be Wednesday, 6 to 8:30.
Oh, never mind. I don't know if it is in.
So if you're able to help with that,
Just putting it on your radar.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then our next work session will be September 9th, and our next meeting will be September 16th.
Josh, you're tomorrow, right? Not Wednesday,
What's that?
for the hot dog grilling?
See, that's what I thought, but I
Well, it's for the students.
Yeah, no, that's not the open house,
Oh,
that's the,
gotcha.
yeah, welcome back.
No, it's the student.
thank you, thought I was
Okay.
one for days, it could go better.
Tomorrow's for parents and students, for everybody. Wednesday night is for high school kids.
Just hot dogs for high school.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chairman, I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.